Follow Scented Gladbag on Twitter. Follow Scented Gladbag.
Hello, and welcome to episode 11 of A Pathetic Podcast. I am Christian, and the beautiful singer over there is Patrick.
What the fuck's up, YouTube?
What the fuck is up, YouTube? So episode 11, as you can tell, we figured out the effects on our mixer. So Pat's now the new A Pathetic Podcast choir. He's the tabernacle, apathetic tabernacle choir.
I just want to give the Covenant back their bond.
Yes, but that was the Halo theme song sung to follow Scented Gladbag on Twitter.
Which is funny because you should follow Scented Gladbag on Twitter.com.
Twitter.com. You should also follow Podpathetic on Twitter.com because we keep plugging Pat's Twitter and we basically never plug our own.
Follow Podpathetic on Twitter, yes, but also, is there a song, a Gregorian chant
A Gregorian.
version of our Twitter? No, there's not. So follow Scented Gladbag after you follow Podpathetic on Twitter.com.
Thank you. I'm very, very glad that we were able to have that bit in there. But like I said, it's episode 11. We're chugging along. This is an interesting week this week in like world news. We're going to touch on a couple of hot takes, I think. But first things first, Pat, how was your week, my dude?
My week was nothing fucking special at all. The only good thing was I had one day of work where, nobody was there, and I got so much goddamn work. I slapped on my fucking headphones as soon as I walked in and was unbothered and got so much work done. But other than that, man, it was a very, not a very illustrious week. Nothing happened.
Really?
Yeah, what about you?
About the same. I mean, I do that basically every day. Like at my job, I have like this kind of like pseudo office type thing that I have going on there, and it's like it's in the back corner of the building. So like whenever I get to work, I basically go into my little cubby hole that exists in the back corner of the building, and nobody else sits around me. So I just kind of like,
beautiful,
dude. I just zone out completely, and it's wonderful. It's a beautiful process.
For the most part, I love my coworkers. Like really, like they're all, I consider most of them friends of mine. But we all kind of have this understanding where, if we want to talk to each other, we'll do it over our chat system. And which
is always the best.
Yeah, which is always the best because we'll even joke around and have a chat on there. But the office is dead fucking quiet the whole time.
What chat system do you guys use?
We use Slack, which has become super
Slack
popular.
Too. Yeah.
Because I think it's not necessarily a software, but
yeah, Slack is good. I like Slack. We were using Skype for a long time. And Skype's good for like doing the video calls or whatever, but I definitely prefer Slack for like doing the chats, and like the integrations are dope to use.
Do y'all use the free one though?
Yeah.
So ours, like if say there was like some important piece of like information that was shared like a week ago, you can't go back and find it.
Yeah, that does suck, but I think we may upgrade to the paid version though, just because. I mean, I don't think my company needs it that much, but they were talking about upgrading to it. But we'll see. Paid promotion. This episode is sponsored by Slack, apparently.
Slack's like, I see you guys got 3 followers. Take our fucking money.
Yep, but...
you think Skype is like, God damn it!
Skype's like, no! They got us! But yeah, like I said, it's been an eventful week in our area specifically because there was kind of a dramatic thing that happened that wasn't that widely publicized, oddly enough.
Are you talking about the shooter?
Yeah, the federal building thing?
Dude, I saw this thing. It's that one picture that was taken of him whenever he's just looking all worried, like holding his guns and shit?
Yeah.
It was like, dude, I'm paraphrasing because I can't quote it exactly, but it was like, dude, you showed up with all this equipment, you fired off a bunch of shots, didn't kill a single person, and you got domed by a security officer. And then it said, it rules that you're dead. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Dude, and if you look at that guy's Facebook, obviously he had some issues, but it's like, dude.
Well, he was like an incel, right? Like he was like in the incel thing.
I think that he was, I don't know that, but it's that personality type really fits within that community, and he also, dude, he's just. The dude obviously had some problems, but that doesn't, like, your problems being an excuse kind of go out the window once you try to shoot up a building. So it doesn't really matter if you're a tortured soul or not.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you're still a piece of shit if you pull out a gun and start shooting and shit.
And then you should get domed by a security officer.
Get domed by a security officer. Yeah, I thought it was weird because I was trying to look up, like, talking points for it, for, just for the podcast, basically. I was trying to look up stuff for it, and I was having a hard time. Basically all I could find was the local. I mean, we live in DFW. We live in the Dallas area, and, like, I could only really find, like, the local stories. I wasn't seeing it, like, widely pushed.
I think part of that is probably because nobody died.
Yeah.
And as bad as that sounds, like, it's literally like it became an issue of, look at this fucking nerd. We're just gonna have to close down the courthouses for a couple days because, you can only talk so much about, like, everyone obviously saw he was just a weirdo online.
Right.
And then it's just like, well, yep, he tried to do this. He looked like a fucking fool. That one picture was taken, but it doesn't really go much deeper than that. And I think that's why. But what's weird is you would usually think that these news websites would milk that for clicks.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fucked up that even if nobody got hurt, which I'm thankful that nobody got hurt, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's fucked up that, like, they're so choosy on, like, what's going to be the right story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Or what's worth
the
news,
the news. Because I feel like even if he didn't, hurt anybody or anything like that, he still fucking shot at a building. Like,
yeah, I mean, he had the intention to murder people, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like it's fucked up that not more attention was on it. Like, not that I want him to have any attention or anything like that and get his story out there. I just think I kind of think it's fucked up, especially because, like, we had that whole thing a couple years ago, like, basically in the same exact area with a guy.
With the officers, right? I was in Denton when that was going on. Yeah,
yeah, dude, that was nuts.
I think it could be because you know that these news stories, like, they'll, like, local dog does a trick, they'll milk that shit for clicks forever. But I think that there's a chance that it could be kind of like with the New Zealand shooter, where of course his name gets out there and his identity gets out there, but for the most part, I'm really liking how these news stations don't give these fucking assholes enough room to live in infamy. They really I remember the New Zealand shooter on news networks, they never talked about him or his background, they never said his name, and they would bleep out his face.
But they did spread the story.
True, yeah.
Which, that's what I'm talking about. It's not about, like, spreading the shooter's information. It's about, like, telling the story, because it's like, and I might be more sensitive to it, obviously, because, Dallas is our hometown, basically.
Yeah.
And, like,
I don't even think about that thing that happened with the shooter. I don't even think about it being Dallas because it's such a weird story. Yeah.
Dude, it was really weird when it happened too, because you remember they, like, grabbed a guy and they thought it was him, and it completely was not him.
Yeah. Dude, can you imagine, like, probably have every gun in every, like, government gun in the city on you, and you're just like, dude, I was just going to buy some chips. I just wanted some sun chips.
Well, no, they hadn't even caught him. They like spread his face, like, everywhere, because they were like, this is the guy, and it wasn't him.
It wasn't Sam Hyde, was it?
No.
Dude, do you know about the Sam Hyde thing? Dude, you know who Sam Hyde is, obviously,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Dude, and this is bad. Sam Hyde, not the best dude, but this is a funny meme, and I think it started out as a 4chan thing. But, dude, you have to look this shit up on YouTube, because every single time there's been a mass shooting in public, before they identify the shooter, everyone, like, all the $1 Million Extreme fans will flood these news stations sending them that one picture of Sam Hyde holding the gun, and they'll say it was him. And there's so many instances where, like, even major news networks have been like, and we just got word on the identity of the shooter. It was this gentleman, Sam Hyde. And I was just like, dude, when you said that, I was like, I thought it was a Sam Hyde case again. Sorry, didn't mean to derail the fuck out of that.
No, but I mean, that brings up a good point, though. Like, it's fucking dangerous to be on the goddamn internet nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, the whole swatting thing, fucking, that's so concerning, dude, because, like, people have gotten killed from swatting and shit like that. And I mean, obviously we don't do, like, we're not, anywhere near big enough on the internet
we get swatted
to suffer those consequences. But, like, dude, especially for streaming, because, like, so we've been working on trying to, like, get streaming started, because we're just trying to figure it out, because we've never done it, to see if we could. And, like, I feel like streaming as a medium, as cool as it is, and as, like, as cool as the fact that, like, that is what is popular now and everything, it's so fucking sketchy.
Yeah, man. Did you see that thing where Keemstar interviewed the guy? But there was a guy who was paid by somebody to swat somebody, and the dude was legitimately killed
Yeah.
When the SWAT team showed up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. Like, why the?
That's not a prank at all. First of all, again, I bring him up every time, but Chris D'Elia one time, he had a bit where he talked about, on his podcast, where he talked about how pranks literally aren't funny. Like, literally, for a prank to be funny, like, there's small practical jokes, whatever, but, like, for a prank to be your only source of comedy means that you are a supremely unfunny person. And, like, your only way to get laughed at is to be like, oh, look what I did to him, you know?
Yeah.
So, swatting is just... I mean, yeah, I get it. It's, if you're an edgy 17-year-old who spends all his time on message boards,
dude,
then
here's
that's
the thing, though. At one point in time in my life, I was an edgy 17-year-old, and I still didn't think anything like doxing or swatting was funny or cool to do. Like, I never thought, even in my stupid teenage brain, I never thought that was an okay thing to do.
I think, and for my stupid teenage brain, you reach this point where you're not a child anymore, and you start becoming a little bit more aware of the world around you. So when you're young, doing almost, and this is not fucking funny, this goes into the prank category of, like, social experiments in a way where you're just fucking with people in public and being stupid. Dude, yeah. Like, not like what the YouTuber clickbaiters. I'm talking about, like, we would do stupid shit like mess with people in public, like, oh, we're so fucking funny. But I think that's for those young kids, that's kind of a similar thing, because you're like, oh, look at that shit, that's so crazy. But your mind really isn't concrete enough to, like, realize how big of a deal that is.
I don't know, though, dude, because Jackass was popular when we were kids, and I liked Jackass, but I hated when they would do stuff in public. I hated when they would go out and, like, do the prank style stuff.
Yeah, my parents love that, but it is hard for me to watch because I get uncomfortable.
Dude, I get so fucking uncomfortable watching that stuff. Maybe it's just like a personality type or something. I don't know.
Not necessarily. Okay, so, like, think about all these hidden camera shows. Like, I mean, there was, like, that British one where the guy always had the giant fucking cell phone. I forget what it's called. Or, like, Candid Camera. All these. Or Boiling Point. You think these are, like, fucking 2002 hidden camera shows.
Yeah, showing your age.
But what was so stupid about those is most people think that they're like, oh, dude, I would know if I was on a hidden camera show. No, no matter how weird it is, your mind, if you see something weird and you're just going about your day and your thoughts are not with entertainment, if you see some weird shit happen, you're not going to be like, I'm on a show. You're literally going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And all they're doing is I hate fucking playing on people's legitimate reactions and emotions for your own, like, laughter. I think that shit is so fucking stupid, dude. So those shows are exactly that. Or even, oh God, what led us into this? Because there's
I don't remember. we went back down our rabbit hole like we usually do.
Welcome to @SenegLabBag on Twitter's Train of Thought.
Yeah, or just Pod Pathetic on Twitter's Train of Thought.
Scented Gladbag on Twitter.com's Train of Thought. And Pod Pathetic, I'm sorry.
Specifically Pod Pathetic. Oh, what's going to be... So, I'm not going to do as many jumps on the green screen this week because I realized... So
it's a shitload of work.
Yeah, obviously the video editing was the first week was last week. And I spent, like, so long editing shit. So I'm not going to do that this time because that was intense. The level of work that was required, and we tried to turn this around in one day. I feel like if we did it like we recorded a week ahead of time and then, like, spread it out that way, it would be okay.
Yeah.
Because understand too, we both work full time. This is not our full time thing.
Oh, this isn't on me. He's doing all the work. He's the one that's editing these. So I'm just the fucking asshole that shows up and plugs my Twitter for an hour. You're the one that's actually outside of your job, because we're both married, have a home life.
Yeah.
You spent like a day because you happened to have a day. Yeah. Nobody's going to have that much time at any point.
So sorry if you were used to a whole bunch of jumps. It's not going to be like that.
I think it's a great time, though, for me to do an experiment.
Do we need to pop something up?
First of all, we're going to pop a panini up there.
Okay, we popped a panini up there.
Okay, so second of all, while the panini's in the background, I need to set my headphones down for a moment.
Oh, we need to bring out. This is what we're bringing out right now. And Pat, if you wanna hop out of frame or anything like that, go ahead and do that. Because we're bringing out a very special item that's near and dear to us. And as a member of the 9090 gang, it should be very special to you as well.
I can't see shit.
This item has existed for many a year. Pat may or may not have stole it from a friend of ours, but it's very special, and I'd like to introduce Greenie the Green Beanie.
It's Crazy Headless Man. Crazy, wild, unpredictable Headless Man. Is there a panini back there?
There is a panini back there.
I'm going to take the panini off now, and I'm going to take this fucking thing off my head. I want to see if that works. I hope that... Ooh. I'm bright.
Yeah, you're shiny today.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Dude, tell the Greenie the Green Beanie story though. I love the Greenie the Green Beanie story.
It's actually a good story because, like, I don't know if you can, like, for one frame turn off the green screen, but it literally is just a green beanie. It might not even show up in that stupid shit I was doing a second ago. But when both of us were younger, there was a local venue called Phil's, and I had played in a band that just for the fuck of it would play there like 4 times a week because we didn't have shit to do my senior year. And we made friends with a guy who's still a good friend of mine named Corey. He's done most of my tattoos
shout
too.
out Corey.
Shouts out Corey, man.
Do you know
Corey
his,
Kickass.
I was about to say, do you know his like Instagram or anything? Because he's a tattoo artist. So
I believe it's Anguish No Play.
something like that.
So well, if we'll find it, we'll plug it in the description.
Yeah.
But so I met Corey back then. We were basically hanging out every night, and we were all just like none of us really had anything going on for us. So it was just being wild, like fucking idiots all the time. And we were also at the time worshiping Every Time I Die. So everything we did was like we were like in a southern metal band, and we were just being reckless. We thought it was so fucking funny, not. But there was one night that, God, dude, oh my, I think it was. Murder, Death, Kill, and Betrayal were playing a show, and for some reason we got put on it. And here's what's so funny is that the bassist, I think, of Betrayal is now, dude, this weird shit. This is some, like, fell into an alternate universe type of shit. The bassist of Betrayal is now the rapper Shakewell, the very well-known rapper Shakewell. And then on top of that, Murder, Death, Kill became a pop punk band. Like I'm talking like 10 years after, dude, 10 years after the pop punk era, they literally became like a pizza and my friends, let's go, like type of pop punk band, and it's so fucking funny. Anyway, so there was one night that show was playing.
Wait, before you continue though, we need to pop a picture of Murder, Death, Kill up right now, just like old Murder, Death, Kill.
Oh, dude,
so
yeah.
people can see like why it's so funny that they transitioned to a pop punk band.
Dude, and it's, oh God, it's so fun. No, you know what? Actually, it might not have been Murder, Death, Kill. It might have been Betrayal that became a pop punk band after Shakewell. Either way, they were the same band for a while, basically. Sorry, not Murder, Death, Kill. Betrayal was Shakewell. Betrayal became the pop punk band. Either way, Betrayal becoming a fucking, remember in our old town, fucking pop punk band is the funniest fucking shit ever. Like, I'm talking like 2017, but using varsity font type of shit. Sorry, anyway, back to that. So it was Murder, Death, Kill, Betrayal, just a bunch of random locals, including the band I was in at the time called Python Madness, which the drummer of Python Madness was the drummer of Findings, the last year or so. So Corey would just get in whatever fight, just if there was a show fight, and he was one of the he was co-running the venue. So he was co-running the venue, and he got into some. Like, basically, at shows like that, those bands existed just for people to beat each other up, and it was so fucking annoying. Because it was literally just, usually it's a bunch of, like fat dudes in tall tees, but they're playing in a metal band, and their whole thing is like, fucking literally kill each other. So, Corey gets into some fight with probably some, like, 15-year-old, and it's, dude, it was this huge fight in this, like, 10 by 10 room, and he drops that green beanie. I don't know how I've kept up with that for so long, by the way, but this was 2009 or early 2010, either one. And so I picked up that beanie and I put it on. And later that night I was talking to him and I was like, Corey, I'm not giving this back to you. Like, this is mine now. I'm letting you know that I've stolen it from you. And somehow, I think just based out of spite, I never lose it. Like, I've somehow kept up with that thing for 10 years now. And yeah,
and every time it gets cold, he wears it. It's gone through basically every stage of life that we've talked about, like our band, living in the house, even when I was living in my apartment. Like, Greenie has existed that whole time and has been a very prevalent part of our lives.
Like, I'm a married man approaching my 30s now. I was 17 when I got that.
Yeah.
And fuck you, Corey. I'm not giving that shit back.
But yeah, I love Greenie the Green Beanie so much.
That's probably such a lame fucking story for anybody listening, but it's just something is funny to me about a long-term spiteful bit. So it's like literally like I would have, dude, if someone was like, "Hey, do you want this beanie?" and I found it on the ground, I would have lost it the next day. But because I let him know, it's so funny to me that I'm telling him that I stole it from him and that no matter what happens, he's not gonna get back. Mm-hmm. And that's just stupid funny shit to me. That's the shit that I like.
Yeah, that's our humor. So if you're a member of the 9090 gang, once again, not a street gang, a Western style cowboy gang, then you need to find this type of stuff funny, because this is what we find funny.
Strap on your goddamn Stetson, brother.
Stetsons and Spurs, boy.
Is that when Southern Metal becomes a trend again? Here, like, ironically, is that the band name?
Stetsons and Spurs. I'm down with that.
Well, so, do you remember in that era, most of these bands, there was a few from here. Like, there was, like, Memphis Mayfire, and, like, there's a few locals doing the Southern thing. But, which people don't realize, Memphis Mayfire, before they were, like, a Rise Records breakdown band, they were a Trust Kill Southern Metal band, which is fucking hilarious. Like, their second show ever was at my high school. But most of the bands that were doing that sound really well were like from, like, Every Time I Die is from Buffalo. Most of them are from like New York and like the Northeast. It was really weird because they have nothing to do. Like, you can't even get Mexican food up there.
Yeah, but also like Southern Metal is like to say that Southern Metal even really has that much Southern influence isn't really true, because like,
well, it's all blues scale, yeah.
All it really was blues scale, and they would do pull-offs and hammer-ons to like make it sound like a twang.
Yeah.
And that was really all it was.
And there's a lot of like, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Dude, that was my favorite thing. Have you seen the hot dog video? There's this is so dumb. I wonder if we can try to find it and play a clip of it on here, because it's the video of just these two dudes just like chilling in a room, like you would when you were like, you know, just with some buddies hanging out in a room. You didn't have shit to do. It was the summer or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's one guy who's like trying to teach himself, like he's in the corner of the room trying to teach himself how to play Take Me Out to the Ball Game. All it sounds like and he's just learning it. But the camera pans over to this other dude. He's just sitting there playing guitar, just bored, obviously. But he hears that he hears that shitty Take Me Out to the Ball Game, and he starts going like, "Come get a hot dog, $5. Come get a hot dog," and he starts screaming it. And by the end, he's like, "Get a hot dog, $5, yeah!" And I was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm so happy to hear that."
That's 1,000% Pat humor right there. That's like exactly what, if I could describe Pat humor in one segment, that's exactly what.
That shit is so funny.
Shit you find funny.
I think it was Tyler Stevens that showed me that video, because he and I think some of the same shit's funny.
If you find that video and send it to me before tomorrow,
I'll find it. Yeah,
I'll try to put it in.
God, dude, that shit's so funny.
But yeah, so gee, we went all over the place already.
We didn't really have a by the way, we didn't really have a theme this week, so I think it's a little bit more free conversation. But I know that you said you wanted to there were some things that you wanted
I was just talking about like the shit that went on in the week.
Are we just going to take a hard right turn and just go into a new thing here, or the next thing?
Yeah, because that's what we do. That's how we do. We talk about something for an extended period of time, and then we're like, okay, fuck this, let's go the complete opposite way.
God, we must be so annoying to listen to. Like, if it wasn't my own self being in it, I'm wondering if I would just be like, I can't keep up with this, I'm turning it off.
It's a good possibility, but we have fun, so that's all that matters.
We have fun.
Yeah, we have a good time. But yeah, what else happened? That thing with Jesus, what's her name? Bella Thorne.
Is that the one where like somebody was threatening? Is it the author?
I don't think she's an author. She's like a model or something.
So somebody was like threatening to leak her nudes or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I love about that is that she just said, "Oh, fuck you, here they are, everybody." And that just immediately cuts the power to that horrible piece of shit. Because that's private to her. You know what I mean? But it literally takes huge balls to be like, you know what, fuck this guy, here they are, everybody.
Right. Did you see what, like, the whole Whoopi Goldberg thing, though?
No.
So,
I was like, no.
So Whoopi Goldberg, she's on The View now or whatever. Like, she does the View with all the gals.
Shouts out, what's the nun movie she's in? Shouts out Sister.
Sister Act?
Hey, yo.
Dude,
shouts out Whoopi Goldberg. Shouts out Sister Act.
Sister Act 2 is better, though, because it's got Lauryn Hill in it.
Anyway,
Whoopi
Goldberg's on The View.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg is on The View, and they were talking about it, and basically Whoopi Goldberg said, in 2019, it's like irresponsible to take nudes of yourself if you're a celebrity. Basically just being like, I don't know the exact wording of it. Like, I could probably look it up, but I'm not going to. But like, basically she was like, not that what happened was right or anything, but in 2019, you should know better than to take nudes of yourself, basically.
I would like to retract that shout out to Whoopi Goldberg. We can keep the Sister Act shout out, but I would like to retract the Whoopi Goldberg shout out, because that is so fucking stupid. Because not that they're for anyone's eyes, but they might be a celebrity, but they're a person too. and so they shouldn't have to be like, oh, I can't, maybe express my sexuality or do this because I'm a celebrity. You're literally taking all the responsibility off of the fucking asshole pieces of shit that use that as like a ransom,
right?
And you're putting all the responsibility on the person. You're literally that's like a person getting killed in public and being like, their fucking fault. They were very killable,
right? But at the same time, I think what she was trying to get at was like you wouldn't walk down. I think the description somebody used. These do not reflect my opinions at all. By the way, I'm just reiterating what I heard. Like one of the things was like you won't walk into a bad neighborhood with a bunch of jewelry on. You know what I mean? Like saying something like that. It's the equivalent to that basically, because in 2019 it is possible for nudes to get stolen off of phones because everything goes into the cloud anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like the equivalent of walking in a neighborhood is a bad neighborhood with a bunch of jewelry on and expecting not to get robbed.
Yeah, that's difficult, man. That is really difficult because that there's a difference between a blatant stupid decision and something that like so if I were to walk through a neighborhood with a bunch of jewelry and a well-known celebrity is going to walk through a neighborhood with a bunch of jewelry, that is the same amount of fucking stupid on both of us. Whereas you have a famous person takes and sends nudes to their partner, and you have a non-famous person that does that. The non-famous person, that's just going to be like, whatever, who cares?
Dude, but non-famous people's nudes get leaked too.
Yeah, they do, but also, I see what what she's saying in that regard, but also too like it. Yeah, she is right in her warning. That's like you're more in the limelight, so you do that. But I think that risk has always been there. So, I mean, I don't care what anybody does, but I'm saying, like, I feel like I think a lot about how hard it would be to be any form of famous, even like YouTuber famous, because we've talked about this many times, but it's just like, dude, like, literally your rules are different for no reason other than people follow you, and that's how you make a living.
But, I mean, that's how life is, though, like with stuff like that. So, I mean, do you think that as a celebrity you should never, I mean, and this is hard to like say without sounding like an asshole, but I mean the reason that I say this is because like I don't do the whole nudes thing, so I've never really done that anyway.
That's a lie, dude. Christian be sending me nudies, boy.
24/7. I send him titty pics 24/7. But like, do you think that as a celebrity you should like know that you shouldn't be taking nudes? I mean, even if you want to anyway, do you think like it's really up to you to not do that?
Well, it's less up to you to not do it or do it, and more up to you to accept the risk that comes with that. And so it's not being like, you see what I'm saying? Like it's more like you do
like being okay. Well, not necessarily being okay, but like understanding that there is a deeper risk.
Yeah, like for example, I can go in here and I can say fuck, but Barack Obama couldn't go on TV and go fucking fuck this shit,
Right.
And so I mean he could, but you know what I mean. Like it's a different level of your expectation is different, but also I'm very firmly the type of person that, regardless of the expectation of what position you're in, I think it's very important to not do the things you want to do.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean fucking kill people and rob banks and
right.
pillage. But I think that you be you no matter what. But if you're smart enough to do those things, then you're smart enough to recognize the risks that could come with it. And a lot of those people accept it. Like, yep, there's my nipples. Sorry, there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's another thing too. Is like, I'm trying to like put myself in their shoes. You know what I mean? Like that's what I tend to try to do with stuff like this. Is like put myself in like everybody's shoes in the situation, so I could try to figure out what I would think in their situation. And I feel like with the whole nude leaking thing, I feel like I would want to go more the route of what Bella Thorne did, which is like, all right, fuck it, like here's my tits.
Yeah,
like,
but what sucks though is like, dude, that never was ever for anyone else's eyes. So it's like, even if she should know the risk, again, even if what we're kind of saying is valid to a degree on a logic level, but shit, that's just like telling teenagers, hey, don't have sex. You know what I mean? It's just like, so logically, yeah, but people get caught up in the moment. They do things, and that takes all of the responsibility off of the victim and
or onto the victim.
Sorry, that puts all the responsibility onto the victim and not of the fucking person that stole from them.
And I'm more talking about like the reaction to it. Like I feel like me, if I were in a situation like that where I got my nudes leaked or whatever, I feel like instead of being like, you know, and this is just like a personal thing because I think like I wouldn't want to feel like I just got, you know, victimized
Violated,
or whatever,
yeah.
Violated. I think I would just be like, all right, fucking here's 6 more dick pics. Like,
But not everybody's like that. Some people are so mortified by that, dude, there's people that would kill themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, and dude, and the weird thing is like stuff like that, dude, especially because nudes are like, dude, nudes are just a fucking can of worms when you take a nude. Like it's such a can of worms, and it was a can of worms back when I was in high school. Like, do you remember Is Anyone Up?
Of course I do. Yeah.
Dude, like that whole thing, there were people from my high school on it. Is Anyone Up? Like, it was meant for like bands and shit like that, I think, originally. But like, yeah, there were people from my high school on there. Like nobody.
There was a lot of people on there. Like, and the thing is, though, those were revenge porn is a whole different thing. But like, I guess for like a step back, you don't look at these streamers that got swatted and be like, shouldn't have streamed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, that's just them doing them. Because everyone goes, fuck you, person that swatted them. They don't go, oh man, that's on you. You should have known the risk of streaming. You know, because, or it's just something you do, you know?
Once again, I'm not saying any of these things are my opinion, expressing any type of opinion on this
Christian
stuff.
is a sexist, misogynist sack of shit. And a Nazi.
I'm a horrible person, apparently. But
Didn't mean it.
yeah. That may have just ruined everything right there. You may have just set me down a rabbit hole of just torment for the rest of my life.
Just pop a panini up there. Just pop a panini up there, man.
Just
We'll
pop
forget
one
about it.
panini up there.
Just toss a panini up there. We'll forget about this whole thing.
That's how we divert from like uncomfortable situations now.
Yeah.
Maybe pop a panini up there.
Ooh, yeah, man. You might want to
Just pop one panini up there.
Pop a panini up there.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a big one this week. And then I'm trying to think of what else. There was that. Oh, and then there's stuff obviously going on in Hong Kong, which is just insane.
My boss is in Hong Kong right now.
Dude, I would not want to be in Hong Kong right now.
He probably is unaffected by all that, so he probably is in a nice enough place where he's not having to see any of that. But
it kind of sketches me out though, because like I think it's like it's like a major anniversary for the Tiananmen Square situation like coming up, or like it happened recently, and I feel like it's weird that like basically they're doing like the same shit in Hong Kong almost. Like almost that it's obviously not to that level. They're not you know, rolling in tanks and shit like that yet, but like I don't understand as a government why you would fucking do that, and especially when something like that is so prevalent in your history to everybody else. You know what I mean?
When something is considered like a national tragedy, and like
yeah.
and also too in a time where that news spreads quick, you know, like,
well, dude,
instantly.
it's like if America was having protests on college campuses and they called in the National Guard.
Yeah.
It's like, do you not fucking remember during Vietnam, the whole Kent State thing? Like that happened. Why the fuck would you ever do that shit again? But I guess I understand it just because Hong Kong, I really don't though, because, and it's just, I think this is a mindset thing. I will say I think it is a mindset thing because I don't have the type of mindset that would work well in like running a government or like trying to manage a company, because I don't have that ambition. You know what I mean? But like the whole thing with Hong Kong is so weird anyway. And like, dude, Hong Kong basically has like its own, it has basically its own culture. It has basically its own economy. It has basically its own everything. And like China's just kind of trying to reintegrate it, and I think they've been trying to slowly do it for a long time. You know?
You mean like to the rest of the world, or
No, to China.
Oh, okay?
Because Hong Kong is kind of like its own thing.
Yeah.
Because Hong Kong, like it was.
They're like, trying to like share the wealth a little bit, or
well, no, because like Hong Kong, like the history of Hong Kong was that Hong Kong, even when China was like unified China, Hong Kong was still like British ruled.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that because I'm stupid.
Yeah, the whole situation is basically because like Hong Kong has always been its own. It was like British ruled, and then it kind of became its own separate thing, and it's always kind of been different from mainland China. And so they're trying to like reintegrate Hong Kong back into China, but it's not going over well because Hong Kong has a almost completely different culture than mainland China does. Like they're capitalist, and, obviously China is communist, and like,
I guess I didn't think about that. Yeah, because they're known for being capitalist.
yeah, exactly. So that's what the whole issue is, and like, dude, I don't know. Like I said, it's a mindset thing for me because I just don't have that ambition. Like I can't.
You don't want to rule the planet?
Yeah, I don't want to fucking take over the world. I don't even want to take over like, if I could have a small island that's like just me and the people that I like, then that's cool. Like with me, like,
Dude, it would literally be like 5 of us and some dogs.
yeah,
And,
a shit ton of dogs, dude. So many dogs. It would be Dog Island for sure.
it's funny too because I guess maybe the shit like when I was a very young kid, I wanted to be in like these councils and I wanted to be on like these committees. I wanted to like lead people and I wanted to be a part of all this stuff. And the older I got, the more I was like, oh no, I don't want to be in charge of fucking anybody. I don't want to be.
Dude, because it's so fucking complicated. It's so complicated. And like, and of course we've been talking about China. Obviously China's fucking complicated because, China is China.
China's copyright rules are fucking awesome. I can get a fucking great guitar from. I got a Gibson ES335. Fake as fuck for $400 after shipping.
Now you're getting arrested. Congratulations.
You know what? It was a gift.
It was a gift. Yeah, it was a gift. But yeah, like, dude, just like everything governmental is so, especially, dude, like seeing it in America, seeing it like work the way that the democracy works in America is like so shitty, even on a small level, dude. Because like my dad is a teacher and my sister's a teacher, dude. Even like school boards and shit like that. It's a fucking nightmare. It's terrible.
Dude, my mother was in clergy and my sister was also a teacher. If you're literally, there's a group of people and you got to be, it's fucked up. It's never.
That's why I currently work in a really small company. That's why I like working in a small company because there's no politics. Like,
Same.
The politics are do your work.
Do your part, and if you don't, see you later.
But I think that's another reason why I don't do like shows as much as I used to also because like I felt the politics in shows all the time.
I guess that conversation has never had how well, obviously we haven't been in the circuit seriously other than playing a fun township show like once a year. But when we, like the old circuit, when we were in it, it's very like, it's weirdly competitive and very political and like
it's so weird. It's its own weird like. Yeah, I hate like that.
That's
that aspect
anything
of it.
though with a lot of people. Any group of people you're gonna have. It's gonna be. I think it's human nature, literally to a tribal level, for there to be like the leaders of it. So I mean, it really is anything that's gonna have a group of people that aren't just like best buds. It's always going to be political. And some groups of people, even if it is 5 best friends, it's still political.
See, and I think that's why I keep like my groups of friends so small, like because I don't want to have like drama. I can like that's fine I guess because drama just happens, but when it gets to a point when there's like you're making a hierarchy of friends and stuff like that, that's when I bow out, dude, because I can't fucking deal with shit like that. It's just like I don't know, when you get political with stuff and you try to manage a group like that, dude, it gets too complicated.
Not everybody is going to operate based off of hard work and merit. It's always going to be hook your buddy up. You know what I mean? It's always going to be
and that's not necessarily what I'm talking about.
Hook your buddy. Yeah,
like the hook your buddy up thing is fine. I'm talking about more like you can see it in friend groups. I've noticed it in friend groups. Even our friend group when it got to kind of like the bigger sized version, there was a bit of a hierarchy within the friend group. Yeah, and like I bowed out of it like for a while because of the level. Like when the group gets too big, I think that's another reason why I don't like big groups, is when the group gets too big, the fucking politics are noticed.
Shit gets weird always.
It's so weird.
Especially there's always there's something weird about people that will show up like way later in it and then just want to dominate the whole thing, and it's not that I'm not an inclusive person. It's just that, dude, then it starts getting weird, and then there's these different levels of people. Then it's like, it's hard to describe, but I think you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to be like, gravitate towards new cool guy. That's not what I'm saying.
No, it's like when it gets to the point when somebody feels like, when that person who's in the group kind of slides off and kind of is in their own corner.
me the past 10 years.
That is like when it gets too much. Because I feel like even when we had Eric's bachelor party, Eric, a guest on the podcast, we had his bachelor party in my house, and there was like 10 people there.
Yeah.
It never really got to that point where anybody was like going off into their own corners or anything like that.
But I think too, especially in groups of just buddies, that shit kind of goes away after a while. We're just happy to fucking see each other because it's so rare to get the group. But even so, like, there was a lady that came to talk to us about her early career when I was in, I think, high school. Mm-hmm. She talked to us about her early career in politics in D.C.
Fuck that.
Oh no, dude! Absolutely, fuck that.
Fuck that.
But she talked about how she would have like, when she was learning how this shit worked at the beginning, it would be like, say she wants to speak with somebody or have a meeting, and someone else wants to speak with that person and have a meeting. She'd go in and be like, they'd be like, sorry, they're busy. The homeboy in the same position with her would walk in with a crate full of lobster, and they would be in like that.
Right.
So I mean that's a big part of, like literally, I think, based in whatever it may be, I think a big part of it is like show up and want everyone to think you're cool, but then that turns into making that person like. And I'm talking jobs, politics, anything. It's literally just like sucking ass. Yeah.
Got it. That part of it is so difficult for me because I don't know what it is about the wiring in my brain, but I don't feel like anybody deserves to have their ass kissed. You
definitely do not. Yeah.
Like, I will 1000%. If I like something that you do, I'll be like, hey man, I really like that. Or if like, you do a good job, like on my hockey team, if somebody does a good, does a good play or something like that, I will 1000% be like, yo, dude, like you did a great play there. But like the whole kissing ass thing and like sucking up to people, I don't have that like that fucking thing in my brain to do it. I don't know what it is like.
Well, because it's a genuine part of you, because most of the time when people are doing that, it's not because they want that person to like them. It's because they're trying to gain something.
Right.
So they're not really trying to be like, hey, I really like this person. I really want this person to like me. It's and again, politics, workplaces, anything. It's, if I can get this person to like me, then I will achieve a status. And that's kind of disgusting, but it's, everyone does. I mean, think about certain boss I had that would sing and dance.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. The shit just like weirds me out, and obviously, we started talking about China and it turned into this, but like
that still kind of applies though.
Yeah, it's prevalent because like the same issues that exist in like a governmental standpoint exist on a smaller scale, and I feel like that goes unnoticed sometimes. Is like all these things happen on these scales, and it's the fucking same thing. It's just on a bigger scale or on a smaller scale. Like even wars, like there are interpersonal relationship wars. They're like, I mean, I'm sure you've had plenty of times where like a friend gets pissed off at another friend, and then you have to like.
Oh, great! I'm mediating this now.
Yeah,
great.
You have to like tiptoe around the fact that they're pissed off at each other or whatever. It's like the same type of shit where it's like it's a conflict, and it's like. I'm so bad at dealing with that type of shit.
I have a big problem with wanting to make sure everyone is not mad at me. Yeah. So I tend to put myself in the mediation position in those a lot.
I'm fucking furious at you, by the way.
I mean, sorry, man. Are you mad at me? Like, so I tend to even though I hate being in that position, I tend to put myself in that mediating position where I'm like, everybody, can we just be okay? And
just get along, everybody.
Just get along.
Just
you know
be
what I mean?
nice.
That is so fucking annoying of me. And also, I remember too, like when we were all living together, I was going through it. Sometimes Zach would be like in a bad mood, and I would be like, oh my god, he's so mad at me for I did something. And it's like, and later on he'd be like, dude, shut the fuck up. I'm not mad at you. I'm having a bad day.
It was like the same with me. I'm always fucking grumpy. And you'd be like, are you mad?
Yeah, well, like, I worry about that less now, because now it's just, guess.
Well, this was more prevalent when we were living together.
Yeah, well, and it's just like, I think, too, I had we've been through this a million times, but we're going through it. All of us were going through it. So I just was really worried if somebody was upset with me for whatever reason, because I was used to. That was when I started realizing how much I'd upset other people before. So I became hypersensitive to it. Now, I think being married to my wife, who is unapologetically just like, you're mad at me, who gives a shit. It's helped me learn a little bit to be like, oh, they're mad at me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like you've definitely gotten better
Well,
about it.
for sure.
I mean, obviously, I'm still fucking furious. Everybody, if you want to be a part of the 90/90 gang, there's a new stipulation. You have to be angry at Pat.
Follow Cindy Gladback. Can we do an ASMR?
Yeah, ASMR.
ASMR plugging my Twitter.
Follow at Cindy Gladback. Everybody Twitter. We're just gonna follow at Cindy Gladback on Twitter. We're just gonna enjoy it, and we're just gonna sit here. And
First of all, I think it would be important if we were to just pop a panini up on that screen. After we pop the panini, I wanted to let you know that you can follow Cindy Gladback on Twitter.
okay, you gotta stop, dude. You have to stop. That shit creeps me out
Dude,
so bad.
ASMR's the grossest, dude. The ones where like they'll literally be like, "Today we have a big slimy crab leg," and they'll just
dude,
be
when
like,
they eat 'em?
and they're like
Oh,
dunking
my
him like
God.
Alfredo sauce. And they're
Here's the thing. So, like I won't say who it is, but there's somebody I know who eats with their mouth open super hard.
It's not me, is it?
No, it's not you. And
I was like, shit.
if this person ever watches it, they'll probably know who they are because I fucking used to just yell at them constantly for eating with their mouth open. But like even just that, being in the same room with somebody who eats sloppily, it just drives me insane.
Dude, just like the Slurpee, like, and like just all
dude,
green.
oh god, the
Dude.
mouth noise. Even just like the whispering, because you can start hearing like the consonants really hard when you hear like that.
Dude.
Like that type of shit.
The weirdest, dude, the most fucked up thing, and people are relaxed by it. It's not even a sexual thing. People, like, for some reason, the worlds of mukbang and ASMR have crossed over, and it has created the most abomination of content.
I do not understand why that's so popular.
I wonder if it's like somebody who, and this is being serious. This isn't me like joking on anybody that has an eating disorder, but I wonder if it does something for people that maybe do have an eating disorder.
I've heard that.
They can just watch people
I've
pig
heard
the
that
fuck
like
out.
people kind of live vicariously through the people who do those mukbangs, but I can't do it, man. I cannot do it. I think maybe it was H3 or somebody.
H3 did a big video about it, yeah.
And dude, even just watching the clips, I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. Like it was so bad. It was so bad.
Dude, it's really cringy too. And like there was one thing that was I think she quit YouTube because like YouTube took down a bunch of her things. But there's so many predators out there. Keep in mind. But there's one. She was like a 13-year-old little girl, and she was doing these videos where she was like just making all these weird sounds, and you could tell these creepy old men were like, "Yeah, it's good," and I'm watching her shit. God. And if you watch one of her videos, it is so uncomfortable. And I cannot, dude, it is so uncomfortable. So I think she quit YouTube, which I think is good, honestly. Like, because maybe when she's older, she'll realize, like, well, yeah, I was kind of attracting a certain crowd there.
Yeah.
But it's just, dude, even the grown-ups that you're just like, dude, there's some, like, I mean, you know, hey, if you're willing, so many people know that their content is just like an abomination, like I said, but they know, like, fuck, I'm about to make 10 grand off this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It weirds me out. Dude, like, so we were talking about doing Twitch earlier. You know, there's like an ASMR category on Twitch.
Gross.
Yeah, like there's just people live stream like all day them doing ASMR shit.
We should do an IRL stream one day.
If we could figure out how the fuck to do it.
I think you'd have to do it over your phone, or we would have to get one of those like rigs that they have, but we'd have to go somewhere weird. Like we'd have to like go to a St. Patrick's Day parade or something.
I'm down with that. We still need to figure out how the fuck we're gonna do streaming in general anyway.
I'm glad that you are some form of focus because I'm not. I stopped taking medication for any type of thing to keep me on the right train of thought because it turned me into a different person. So I'm glad I have you because you're kind of focused on something because I'll be like, yeah, I want to do that. Then I'm distracted immediately. You'll be like, hey, this is how hey, let's try this. And then I'll be like, okay, it'll take me a minute. But that's why I'm glad that I have you a little bit more focused than me because it's really hard for me. And I hope you've seen that I have made a lot of coping mechanisms to be better at that.
No, yeah, I've
but
seen
like,
the effort.
dude, it's so hard. Like, it's crazy how hard it is for me to hold.
Yeah, I think with us, the thing with us that's going to have to be like anytime that obviously we can hold the conversation and like we can bring it back in or whatever like for the podcast. But I think any of the other stuff, I'm just going to have to text you constantly.
Literally, dude, I tell everybody I'm not ignoring you. Blow me the fuck up because I can literally read your text and know what I'm going to reply, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm hungry. You know, like it's.
Oh
it's
yeah,
really...
when I like need something or I'm telling Pat something, like for those of you out there, I'll text him probably 3 or 4 times.
Here, I want to see if I can find the text from the. From the last time.
He'll get back to me after about the 3rd or 4th text. And the trick, like, there's a trick to texting Pat, which is you text him 3 or 4 times, and then you give him time to read it. Like, give him like an hour. And then if he doesn't read it after an hour, then you go back and you be like, yo, bitch, what are you doing?
Yeah, so, like, literally... There was one where you were like, hey, get on the stream, because we were doing a test the other, or he was doing a test, and I was at home trying to make sure that the stream was working on my end, because you were playing Spider-Man or something.
Yeah, playing Spider-Man.
What's funny is I got on your stream, keep me in touch on this, but I got on your stream, and I just heard you going, I'm Spider-Man. You were just playing, like, by yourself, just saying this shit.
I was just saying random shit, and dude, like, we had a couple people hop on and then hop right off because I was just saying, like just random shit while I was playing.
Well, okay, so back to what we were saying. You were like, it should be live now. And at one point. And then, you know, about half an hour later, you said, was that you in my stream? And then a few minutes later, you text me again, ? And that, I'm in no way bothered by that, because then I was like, oh shit, yeah, dude, my bad. I'm on it right now. And then later on, you were like, okay, it's working on my phone. And then I just got distracted by something. And then I think 10 minutes later, you were like, so you're going to try again, right? You know, like,
yeah.
It helps me because it sucks, man, because in some ways, I do acknowledge that that's how I am. I wish I could help it. I really do. But it sounds so fucking dramatic, but it really is kind of like, it feels like a disability, because there's so many things that I want to get done, and I do not have a linear train of thought, and I should.
Yeah.
And that's my fault. I could train myself out of that. Lately I've been writing myself a bunch of notes, setting a bunch of alarms, trying to keep myself on a decent track. But dude, it is so hard to make it through the day when I can't focus on something, and if I do, I have to love the fuck out of it.
Yeah, and I'll say I think that is like one of the reasons why we've always been good, like working together. Like we've played music together, and we're doing the podcast together now. I think one of the reasons that it works for us is because, well, I'm super interested in this, so I don't mind doing like the editing and shit like that. But like also, I've always been. It didn't take me long to figure out your like. The trick to you.
Yeah,
like
I mean, you definitely know how to work with me on this stuff. But.
Yeah, because I'll fucking blow you up. Because it really is a process. You have to blow them up and then wait.
Dude, that sucks.
And then blow them up again.
But that's so. What fucking sucks about that, dude, is that makes it so labor intensive to know me, and that's what I hate the most.
It's really not,
like,
though, dude.
For you, yeah, because you know how it works. But it's just like, dude, it sucks, and like. One big thing I worry about all the time is people thinking I'm stupid because of, you know, the way I interact or the way I can't hold just a consistent stream of thought. So I worry about that all the time. When you get it. You're like, dude, you're not stupid. I understand how you see things, but it's one thing that I worry so much about because, dude, my brain is just the way this podcast works is so much my train of thought, because I cannot right now. This is something I'm interested in, so like I can keep going on it, but dude, it is so fucking impossible for me to carry a conversation. Sometimes, dude, not you, but like sometimes other folks, people that I like a lot, I won't reply to because I'm just like, I can't continue this conversation.
Right.
It makes it hard to meet new people too.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to do anyway.
Yeah, and I think it's fine because it's better you acting the way that you do with like keeping in contact and keeping your train of thought, then like, dude, there's plenty of other people out there that'll just like leave your ass on red because they don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah, and it's not that. It's people don't always leave people on red because they're being like, I don't want to reply to you, dude. Sometimes I'll be like on Facebook Messenger or whatever, and I'll see something that someone sent me in the middle of a conversation like a month ago, and I'll just have to be like, I just saw this, dude. Please believe me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But so if you ever want to get in contact with Pat,
blow my ass up.
Blow his ass up.
Oh, actually, I have a way to reach out to me, and that is Scented Gladbag on Twitter, at Scented Gladbag on Twitter.com.
Please, if anybody watches this, just blow up his DMs, blow up his mentions, so he'll stop talking about being Scented Gladbag on Twitter.
I feel like sometimes, and I'm gonna gloat for a second. I feel like sometimes I have a tweet that's a sleeper hit, and because I don't have the reach, because I don't have enough followers, it doesn't go anywhere. Because I feel like sometimes I pop a tweet out there and I'm like, that's a good one.
You posted one that got it, like, you know, on Twitter, the like Twitter will give you like the recommendation notifications, like with the purple thing.
Yeah, like I hate those fucking things, but yeah.
Yeah, one of your tweets got into the podcast Twitter the other day, and it was fucking hilarious, and I forgot what it was. But
was it something I posted on the podcast Twitter, or like it just showed up as
something you posted elsewhere, and then I liked it. It was this morning, I think.
Let's take a deep dive. Was it the them shits one?
Yeah, them shits one.
Oh, dude, I was going to talk about that. Okay, let's talk about
funny.
this tweet. And this tweet did okay for only having 188 followers, which is fucked up. I am at Scented Gladbag on Twitter. Fucking follow me.
This is the wrong platform for that. We have way less than that.
Listen, man, I deserve more.
I'm sorry, yeah, you do.
So this a lot of times, and the great thing about Twitter for somebody like me who doesn't is just thinking random shit all the time, but also is more of like a comedic mind. I'm not a comedic genius. I'm saying usually I'm thinking in the funny zone.
Thinking in the funny zone.
The funny zone.
That's the name of this episode. Thinking in the funny zone.
It's fucking dumb. But I was thinking the other day. I think it was something someone in Whitney's family said, and it was them shits instead of being like those over there. So I said, using the term them shits when referring to anything is always the move. Those items over there, boring, fucking boring. But if you say them shits down Shonder, please tell me more.
Yeah, I enjoyed that when I saw that. So Twitter understands, I guess, me working the podcast Twitter because they recommended that one to me, and I thought it was hilarious.
Dude, I'm just saying, man, some of my tweets aren't that good, but some of them deserve more credit. They really do.
You just exist inside the funny zone. So,
dude, that makes me think of like a fucking like Discovery Zone ad that's got like little like confetti and like fucking what's the whistle called? The
slide whistle,
like slide whistles. the funny zone. My head's in the funny zone, which means there's always slide whistles going off.
Always slide whistles. That's like what the audio representation of Pat is. It's just a slide whistle going woo woo woo. Because you live in the funny zone. Yeah,
my mental audio stream is just Donald Duck falling off of something.
Yeah, Pat is just a gigantic cartoon.
I feel like it sometimes, which is sometimes a bad thing, dude. Sometimes I'm like, oh, dude. Sometimes I'm like, time to slap on a suit and get serious here. But it's just, I'll go like, especially in my earlier 20s, getting older, I was always like, you know what, time to grow the fuck up. And then it just kept coming back to who I was originally, no matter what I go through. And at some point, I'm just like, you know what, man, even if that not hinders me, but even if that keeps you from being some fucking hard ass professional, like it's fine with me because I'd rather
Dude,
have fun.
It's a better way to live. It's a better way to live.
I revert back no matter. I've tried so hard to be a different person so many times, I just end up reverting back to @ScentedGladbag on Twitter.
Which is what you should. Like, I live the majority of my life in the grumpy zone, so it's not fun. It's really not. I'd rather live in the funny zone like you do, but I live in the grumpy zone.
There's a it's a place that's kind of like Main Event-ish, but it's called the Brunswick Zone. You remember
Yeah.
The Brunswick Zone, does that not sound like a fucking concentration camp?
I thought Brunswick was like the brand, though, because I feel like there's different Brunswick places. Like, I thought Itz's was a Brunswick place.
Because it looks similar. Like, the branding is similar, but it's funny. Like, Whitney my wife, used to always say that the Brunswick Zone sounded like a hair metal thing. Like, the Brunswick Zone! But I was like, it sounds like a concentration camp.
God. Yeah, I guess so. The Brunswick Zone. It's like it's a concentration camp, but it's just like fun.
Like, lots of slide whistles, couple of
like you're forced to be there, but it's all like you must play laser tag.
like you fucking better, but the conditions are great and it's a blast. Lots of getting a ton of tickets for like 10 Laffy Taffies.
Dude, how long do you think it would take for you to just like go completely insane if you were just like locked in like an Alley Cats or like an Itz's or something for a long period of time?
The constant 360-degree overstimulation already for a person like me is already a little overwhelming. And also, I have zero threshold for screaming children. I literally, a screaming child drives me just I'm mad immediately. But
I think I know exactly what I would do though. What I would do is I would get like you remember like. Do like in Snow White, whenever the queen turns into the old person and she wears the cloak that's like she's hunched over and like in the cloak and like draped over. I would just hang out in the laser tag rooms.
That's so
like
creepy.
24/7 and like the draped over cloak, and I just like be in a corner whenever somebody came around and be like, "Get out of my home!" and like hold my arm up over my face and shit like that.
Good.
Yeah, that would be what I would do to entertain myself probably the whole time.
Bring me the children. Good. Now bring me the child.
Yes, good.
Yes, good. Well, okay. Also, too, there is a point when it's like going to the fair or going to Six Flags or going to an arcade. That stuff is a lot of fun, but at some point it is very much like pop out in front of you fun, and after a while you're just it's physically exhausting. So I can never work there because 8 hours instead of just like. But I can play the coin game. The coin drop game, dude, I can play that shit for 3 days straight. But
that gives me an idea. By the way, I'll talk to you after the podcast because it may be a thing that we implement.
Okay.
But yeah, so the funny zone. God, we completely got off track. We were talking about fucking China.
Listen, man.
We were talking about China.
Listen, man. Sometimes I hear something small about China, and it takes me right to the funny zone.
The funny zone.
Hey, everybody, get on down to the funny zone.
Do not do that.
Welcome to the funny zone.
Yeah, that was really bad. By the way, I hope it wasn't as cringy this episode as that was last episode.
What do you mean not as cringy?
Dude, that face that you made when I did the yay.
Oh, dude, I was just being fucking stupid, dude. I literally that was definitely on purpose.
No, that was very cringy.
But
though.
Dude, also I hate the way I look on camera. So I watched part of that and I was like, dude, I became a wildebeest at some point. I'm just like, I was looking at after that I was like looking at old pictures of myself where I was like in shape and I was like, fuck, dude, a lot just melted.
Oh yeah, dude, 100%.
I fucking melted.
Yeah, dude, and I've had such a hard time with weight stuff because I'll gain and lose weight so fucking much lately.
Same.
It's so annoying, but I need to start going back to the gym. So if we have any listeners, please keep me honest and tell me to go to the gym every day.
Whoop our ass in shape. But joke's on you. You take me to the gym. I'm drinking 12 Budweisers that night.
Budweiser.
Oh, dude. The other day, speaking of Budweisers, you know those outlets in Grand Prairie? They're like past the Highlands. It's like, I forget what they're called.
The ones off of 20.
There's a Waffle House right next to those. And I almost wrecked my car the other day because the O was out on the house, so it was just Waffle Hoose, and I was just driving home like a fucking idiot.
Waffle House.
Waffle Hoose.
Waffle Hoose. Yeah, that's funny. Did you have anything else for it? I feel like I've kind of had all the topics today. Did you have anything?
Yeah, not really, man. I know that this one kind of devolved. I'm sorry for anybody listening. This is not a typical podcast. Usually we have like 2% something more, but dude, this time I didn't really bring anything.
Yeah, dude, the problem with this week was that everything that I was interested in, caught up with news-wise and stuff like that, was all fucking depressing. So I was like, shit, I don't know if I should
it's like, let's talk about shooting, and let's talk about these, let's talk about, Tiananmen Square 2, Electric Boogaloo, and let's talk about, but
and then we just devolve into the funny zone.
What sucks, though, is that I'm not consciously being like, this is too serious, it's time to get weird. It's literally just like, I don't know.
That's your natural reaction. It's to devolve into the funny zone. That's why this episode is called the funny zone.
Maybe I'm just a laugh at the funeral type of guy. I like to go into the funny zone.
All right. Well, we're in the funny zone. I don't think we have anything else. I think we'll just keep it a short one this week. We got shit to do this afternoon. So, yeah. Welcome to the funny zone. You are a part of the 9090 gang. Congratulations. The 9090 gang inside the funny zone. You can follow us on Twitter at PodPathetic. You can follow Pat at Twitter at Cinta Gladbag.
Got him right.
Sorry. We will start streaming eventually. I think, Pat, you have a separate one, right? Because I set up one.
I haven't done anything with it yet, but we'll start plugging those once we have a little bit more of
Yeah, once
direction on
we
that?
start getting it, but like whenever we do stream, we'll probably post on Twitter just saying like, "Hey, we're going to start a stream." So if you're interested in watching us play video games or do stupid stuff, we'll probably post. So follow us on Twitter. Keep an eye out on that. If you want to follow the video episode specifically, you can follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. It's Apathetic Podcast. If you want to follow the audio, we're on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere that you can get podcasts, just Apathetic Podcast. And like us on Facebook. And I think that's all the social plugging, other than following at Single.
Yeah, make sure to follow @ScentedGladbag on Twitter.com. And as always, 90 fucking 90.
9090.